Greetings, sequestered clarinetophiles. We're all holed up in our hovels by government command and perhaps by common sense. Nevertheless, I'm here to get a corona-free video to you guys because I've never heard of anyone getting corona by watching a YouTube video. So, there's that. So you should be able to rest comfortably on that. Now, you know how businesses have what they call them, casual Fridays, where people normally come buttoned up and all that. They can come in Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that. Well, we have a tradition here at Red Air Clarinet Products in the shop, and that's called Every Day is Grub Day. So I'm pretty grubby today. I've been working away in the shop, slaving away for y'all. And anyway, I thought that since I've got an almost captive audience, you know, with the virus, what do you call it? Well, anyway, I've got an almost captive audience, so I'm going to do a video for you guys, and it's connected with the double lip video. And the double lip video, the main thing I'm wanting for you guys, especially trying out French embouchure for the first time ever, is that you be successful. And one of the most discouraging things I remember when I was trying to play French embouchure at first with no instruction, just hearing people like Harold Wright and Dick Stoltzman and Elsa Ludwig and other players who were French embouchure players, it really inspired me by their musicality and by their phrasing. I had no instruction, so one of the most discouraging things that I ran into was cutting my lips, especially injuring my upper lip, which was a baby, and, you know, like an idiot, I'd overdo it. So then when you overdo it and you cut your lips, then that pretty much sets you back for several days because it's too painful to play. But I thought I had to do the macho thing. I wasn't able to stand and play. Most players aren't. Harold Wright, every time I ever saw him perform, he sat. He sat and played the Mozart Concerto in Boston, in the Symphony Hall there in Boston. So I thought, if Harold Wright can sit and play the Mozart Concerto better than anyone else in Boston, then I can probably sit and play a recital. I don't have to conform to that standard. So, but I couldn't really effectively stand for very much time. But I thought, well, at least I'll do the macho thing and just tough it out, right? And not knowing that I really needed extremely well-balanced reeds to pull this off, and no one actually to give me any instruction about how to actually even test for what a well-balanced reed actually is. So often I was playing reeds that were very inconsistent, and always when they're unbalanced, they force you to crunch in, and then that just basically devastates your endurance. As we all know, it's much easier to play and less taxing when you've got a great reed to play. So balanced reeds are essential with double lip because elsewise you can injure yourself. And if you're really foolish, you could injure yourself for some period of time. So anyway, how do we solve this? How do we at least reduce the effects or the possibility of actually hurting ourselves when we're first learning double lip? Well, one of the main steps I found was in this product that I never suspected that I would find, and that is parchment paper. Now, I've had a little video on this. I've mentioned it before in part of a video, basically talking about double lip. But I'm going to go a little more detail in this parchment paper thing today. First of all, I'm going to show you how to make a covering, for your embouchure, so for your teeth, so that you don't cut yourself. Now, for years and years and years, talking about decades, let's not get personal, but in talking about decades, I never used anything. I played, with nothing. But as I've gotten older, my upper teeth have gotten especially this one, it's gotten really razor sharp. And I even went to a dentist one time and had him file it down, but you can only do that so much. There's only so much tooth there. So I decided I've got to do something. So I decided that I would try this parchment paper. Now, I've used a lot of papers in the past, and basically, I mean, you can get any kind of paper and fold it over and stuff, but it falls apart. Now, you could, go to a dentist and pay a bunch of money for him to devise some kind of prosthetic that would be, effectively permanent. You could always put up there, and that's nice and convenient. But, unless you have money to throw away on a dentist and all that and time to waste, I'd say probably don't do that. There is an easier and simpler solution, and that is with the parchment paper. Now, why parchment paper is better than regular paper? First of all, it lasts a coon's age, depending on the coon, and it won't fall apart on you. It's coated with silicone, and it's supposed to be food grade. So if you get the heebie-jeebies from this, don't blame me. So Sue Reynolds or whoever it is that produces these things. But it's supposed to be, food safe, right? Because you bake on this stuff at high temperatures and you have food on it. So it shouldn't cause any kind of problems at all. If it does, by the way, you try this, and if it does, you let me know, okay? Because I'll send a little alert out. Now, I've taken this parchment paper right here, and I folded it in half, okay? And I've cut it to a width that's going to be useful for covering my upper or lower lip, okay? And so I'm going to show you how I prepare it, and it makes it kind of easier to do. And before I do that, I just want to answer this objection preemptively, which I've already done in a previous video. You say, well, double lip's not about biting, so you're not supposed to bite. So like, if I do this, I mean, I'm going to bite, right? And the answer to that is no, you're not going to bite, right? Because when you get the upper lip under, whether you have a coating over your teeth or not, to crunch down with your teeth on the reed is not going to be comfortable, okay? So, but what this is going to do is it's going to drastically reduce the possibility of you cutting yourself. And that, I think, for a beginner on double lip playing, that's really a very, very important aspect of keeping on, okay? So that's why I'm recommending this if you think that you need it. Now, so anyway, don't feel like, I can't use that. I've got to tough it out. No, you don't have to tough it out, and you will be able to learn how to play double lip correctly, whether you use this or not, okay? So I highly recommend this for people who may be in danger of cutting themselves or hurting themselves, or may find that they're doing so in the process of learning. So don't be reluctant to use this. It's inexpensive, and like that thing that I showed you, that container for the parchment paper, I mean, you could use this the rest of your life and probably be able to will some of it to your unwashed, ungrateful grandchildren. Okay, so now let's talk about how to do this. Okay, so here we are, and I've got this little bowl of water here. I'm going to move it out of the way for right now. And here's my parchment paper. Now, I cut this with, I tried a paper cutter. Paper cutters just do not work on this. But anyway, I used scissors to cut this, and I really like the Reynolds wrap product because it actually has these little printed guidelines. I don't think you'll be able to see them on the video, but they go this way and go that way, so they help you learn to cut straight. And I could never learn how to cut straight. It was terrible. I see these women they cut like a straight line, with scissors. It's unbelievable how good and skilled they are. I have no idea how they do it. So anyway, I've got, as you can see, one fold here. And so I'm going to fold this over again, I hope. All right. So now I've got 4 folds. Now this stuff is pretty thin, okay? So that sounds like a lot of folds. Now that's 4 folds. And now I'm going to fold it over yet again. All right? Now you'll have to determine really how many folds that you need, how what's comfortable. But that's 4. That's pretty good. All right? So now, I could let it go at that. All right? And so the next thing to do would be to get some scissors, which I did not bring here to the table. So bear with me for a second while I get the scissors. Okay, well, that was a delightful 10 seconds. So now, I think I'm going to probably cut this probably about that width. Okay, so you notice this all stays together. So now I think that's pretty good. It may be a little long for my purposes. So again, I'm going to cut it shorter. All right, good. And we've got some parchment paper debris to add to the mess here in the shop. And that's pretty good, maybe just a little bit too wide. So maybe shorten it up just a little bit more. All right, more debris. Now we're all set. So this is where this guy comes in. Dip it down in the water. And it's pretty resistive to water. But believe it or not, whatever the material is, the silicone, eventually the water permeates it. And it becomes increasingly malleable. And it doesn't take very long. But believe me, it's a lot easier to do this than it is to put it in your mouth and start chewing around on it, trying to get it to be saturated. There you go. So now it's starting, so I can fold it again. That's good. Now at this point, I could put it in my mouth, fit it over my teeth, and begin to shape it. Now, once you put this over your teeth and you shape it and everything and play with it, it gets even more malleable while protecting your teeth for your lip from your teeth at the same time. And eventually, when you finish playing, take it out and fold it in, and it will dry actually in that shape. As you can see, this one is completely dry and it's already pretty much pre-shaped, and it'll also soak up very easily. Now, again, the advantage over paper is that this stuff does not fall apart. You could take this and play this for, 3-4 months, something like that. Now, every time I use one of these, I take a spray bottle and I spray this, right? So it's nice and sterilized. And then again, I can put it on my upper teeth and get it nice and wet. And I'm ready to go just in a few seconds and ready to play for a long time without this razor-shaped tooth up there really doing a job on me. And you may want to use it for your lower lip as well as your upper lip. And believe me, you're not going to bite when the upper lip is basically pushed under the teeth by rolling the mouthpiece in, or what I call snugging the mouthpiece in slightly. You're not going to bite. Okay, you're just not going to. So that's not a worry. And this will eliminate probably the major obstacle that prevents people from continuing on to learn to play double lip, and that is the initial pain of doing it, because you don't have any muscles up there to start with. You're a little beginner. Right? You've been playing the clarinet for years, and you know a lot of stuff. You played a lot of advanced stuff, but your upper lip's a baby, okay? So you have to give a few bits of compensation to let that baby grow up. And very soon you'll find you'll start to develop this upper part of the orbicular muscle so that you can properly cushion. And then you may not need the paper at all, but I say that you will always need it to protect your teeth from biting if you're playing on inferior reeds that are badly balanced, because they will cause you to cut yourself up real bad. So learn how to balance reeds, or go to someone who knows how to balance reeds so they can give you the proper equipment that will not force you into bad habits and into hurting yourself. Okay, but this is the major discouragement, and this parchment paper here, this wonderful substance, is a solution, and you don't have to go to a dentist to pay for some kind of prosthetic in order for you to be able to play with some kind of comfort. And I know this is a little bit long, and it seems like the subject is kind of, like, why are you spending so much time on this? Well, once you start working on double lip, you'll find why I spent so much time on this and trying to explain it out and explain out why that it should be used and what the value of this stuff. And with that, I'll see you next time, because we are going to be doing a series on double lip playing. And I don't want you to get impatient. I know everybody wants to play. Let's go, let's play. That's the way I am with with cameras or with a new piece of equipment. Oh, let's just start it. No. How about reading the manual first? Okay, yeah, but I want to. No. Let's read the manual first. Okay, so I'm preparing a manual that will be a reference for you as you work on double lip, and this is part of it. Very important. Okay, and we will get to the playing, but in due time. Okay? Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Practice a lot.